When we talk about the biblical basis of missions, an increasing number of scholars say that this is not adequate. That's not a good term to talk about what God is doing in the Bible. Rather than talk about a biblical basis of missions, we should talk about the missiological basis for the Bible. That is, God gave us His Word for some reason. And that reason was so that we might know Him and make Him known. And that's what missions is really all about. Well, now with that background, it's a little amazing to hear some people say that there is no such thing biblically as the missionary call. Now they say that because they cannot find that specific term anywhere in the Bible. So they say, well, then there is no missionary call. For instance, in Ephesians 4, we don't see Paul saying that he gave some to be a prophets, some to be apostles, some to be pastors and teachers, and some to be missionaries. And so then therefore there is no missionary call. And yet it is very clear that God's heart beats for the nations from the very beginning all the way through. From Genesis all the way to Revelation, we see that God is concerned about the nations, that God is calling people, gifting people, sending people out. There is an argument for the biblical basis of a call to missions, of people that God is setting apart for that service. What is that biblical basis? And how can you use that to discern what He may be saying for you in your own life? As we study through the Scriptures, we see that He did send out people like Jonah. But as we study the lives of other people, we see that God sent them out as well in the Old Testament, and that God's heart was beating for the nations even then. And certainly as we turn to the New Testament, we see Jesus giving us the Great Commission passages, or we see Paul being sent out with Barnabas to go on that first missionary journey. These passages show us that God does have a concern for the nations, and He has a will for your life. And David said, all the days ordained for me were written in your book before one of them came to be. There is a biblical basis for the missionary call. We discover that as we journey down this pilgrimage to understand His will for your life in the missionary call.